Okay. And we are live. Back with Roadwarden. Yesterday, we made a lot of money, mostly by being a scumbag and working with Hallersdale's mayor by betraying everybody else around the town for money purposes. So now we have a bunch of money, we only need a smidge more before our personal objective is complete. Then we can focus on cleaning up the bandits and necromancers, and I think we can leave. I think we won't go after Asterion. It seems like an expensive task. And I don't think we get paid for that either. But I think we'll just leave it behind. Anyway, if you guys want to see what happened to Asterion, just play the game yourselves. Anyway, let's get started. Today's plan is to go around and get more money, as usual. They try to carve the world, yet their memories and tales... today's quote. And their memories and tales dwindle, their shells wither away, homes and statues turn to dust. The wilderness prevails, as indifferent as time. Boop. Let's get back in there. We were at the inn, about to leave. We gotta check south for anything that's left in the camp. Then we have to head east to the Enchantress's place. Also, look as we go, we look for missing hunters. A flock of rooks and crows flees the crossroads. The bushes are rustling, the carcass is fresh, and so are the bootprints. You take a quick look around Talia's work. The wolf, lured by the scent of blood, ran to the shrubs, breaking a few twigs, but the few stabs received were deadly precise, reaching the organs. Hey, I can place a bronze rod. That's more money. You tether Rose to the signpost so he can graze for a bit. The rock face is smooth and tall, uninviting. You don't have the proper tools to support you, and you don't see any good spots where you could rest your hands while climbing. My grappling hook. I just need to move quickly. Now let's use our grappling hook. Tying the rope to the bone hook is easy enough, though you struggle to throw it just right. After the 5th attempt, it gets stuck between a branch and the stems of a shrub. You pull it for a bit, then jump in place, making sure the bushwood won't break under your weight, then climb to the top slowly, walking on the surface of the wall. As you stand on the grass and look down, the crossroads are indeed not so far below you, but it catches your attention how fragile the bridge between the two cracks seems to be. I tie the rod. You knock on the dead plant and it's still full of wood, strong. After just a bit of effort, the log hugs the trunk, and even your deliberate efforts are not enough to make it fall down. Alright, I can spend an hour foraging for plants. We have plants, I don't think we need to forage. Let's head south to the camp. We're discovered with paw prints. From time to time you spot bloodstains spit out by someone with deep wounds. The black carrion eaters are circling ahead above the camp. I might need to turn around. You don't reach the walls. The carcass is serving as a feast for 2 birds and dragonlings, a few of which are resting on the ground, waiting for the next wave of hunger. One of them gets back on its paws, giving you a warning stare. The path of the troll charge is marked with broken arrows and puddles of blood. The soldiers fought bravely, but the camp will be of no use until someone arrives here with a wagon of timber. I thought there would be a body to clean up. Yeah, to clean up. Oh well. You followed the overgrown trail between the dolmen and the southern roads, but it got even more difficult than a few days back. You look at the fallen branches and a few trampled shrubs that are blocking the road. The large paw and flew blood trails and scraps of fur tell a story of a long clash between dangerous beasts. From now on, riding to this spot is going to take you even more time. Clear the path. Turns out a few of the plants are already dried out and are not too heavy. You get a bit sweaty, but unless another misfortune happens, the path should stay in pretty good shape. Alright. That should help. Nothing here. Let's keep going. Over the fallen tree, which blocks us a bit. By investigation, I can say that the wagon now had cargo. Ambush. Attacked by highwaymen. Was transporting valuable merchandise. They were taken north. Okie dokie. Let's keep going. To the watchtower. Where we can rest in a bit. No signs of the hunter. We only have one rod left, I think, to place. Right? Oh wait, is it all gone? I think it's all gone. I don't see any more rods. Alright, they're letting us in. I want to collect my reward for the bronze rods. 16 bucks. Yudasha wipes their hands on her robe, puts one into her pocket, and waits for you to describe the locations where you place the rods. She asks you for a few details, then thinks it out. Let's see. 8 rods in total, so that would be... Here you go. I guess we're done here. It looks so. Thanks, Leto. Fantastic. As a bonus reward for placing all the rods, you can buy my spirit rock cheaper. Such a journey would take me weeks, or it wouldn't, for I wouldn't try it. She chuckles, but as she twirls her hair, her eyes go absent again. What can you sell me? I'm not a trader. I do the stuff people ask me about, and they're not for sale. She glances at her house, then towards a pocket at her hip. There's but one tool I'm going to part for with 9 bones, but it's for spellcasters only. It's the rock. Do I buy it with the guy who wants it? Like in Gale Rocks? Nah. The road around the watchtower are in terrible fade. There's a barren field, high island. Do you need more help? Her lips form a small shadow of a smile. I do, but it won't be as much of an ordeal, just a simple errand. She moves closer and pulls out a dry flower petal from her pocket. See, it's an orange tulip. That's much larger leaves. It's called a snake bait. Bring me 1 or 2, freshly picked. I'll pay you 5 dragons, fair enough? What do you need for 5 dragons? I simply want it. Her voice gets colder. These flowers are hard to find. I'd pay 5 dragons for them any day. Any tips where I can find them? That's the hard part. You can try the western villages or in the deep woods. They need lights. So not in caves, but stay in shadows so below trees. Edges of meadows will be my guess. Or maybe you'll find one just by the main road. Keep your eyes open. Alright. How long to go back? Half an hour. So we can spend an hour here. Can you tell me more about the peninsula? I'm not selling gossips, nor am I buying it. I have my hut, my guards, and my lake. I'm an artisan, not an innkeep. If you need one, ride south to Pell to the north. Or if you'd rather visit a cheerful place, ride north to Foggy Lake. Was it Foggy's Lake? Whatever. I found a barren field that may be affected by a curse. Can I get any help? A cursed field? Where'd you find this stuff? As you explained briefly, she observes your boots. I know the place, but... She steps away and approaches the garden patch by her house. She observes it for a moment, then kneels down, paying no attention to her robe, and reaches for a wooden spade. What she digs out looks like a tree sapling with 2 leaves that are as large as her hand, and as thin, elastic stalks. It's shorter than your head. Would you look at that? Still green. Give me 2 dragons and you'll put it in the bag with soil. It'll survive at least a couple of days. How does it work? Well, you plant it, of course. Wait for half an hour and you'll see. If it grows an inch... She frowns, raises the plant to her eyes and grunts. Forget it. If it bursts into blooms, the soil is enchanted. If it withers, it's cursed. Stay the same, no Numa. She whispers again. Just be careful when you do it. It loves fogs. It grows by magic? And it costs 2 dragons. Why do you have that? What? No, these plants are the only stuff I can think of right now. I'm trying to make a plant that grows without sunlight, using just water, soil, and Numa. I'll know I'm there once it starts to bear fruit. I swear I don't even mention mushrooms. You ask her about the purpose of all this, but she just plays with her hair and looks towards the gate. Just a hobby of mine. Sure, $2. Can you guys patrol the roads? Why would I bother? You're supposed to continue, but her question is earnest. The path is getting overgrown. Soon getting to the other villages will soon get close to be impossible. She twirls her hair, looking in the direction of the tower. It may be for the better. She starts listlessly, then shakes her head gently. You may be right. I hope the trail would take care of itself, with traders and all, but the years are getting emptier. Instead, I need my workers to seek food and to guard my walls. I can maybe give you some rations? 5 rations. She observes your boots and crosses her arms. The more bronze rods are spread across the peninsula, the easier it is for me to spend the goons in the woods. It says 5 rations. Can you tell me about enchanting? She looks at your hands and starts to twirl her hair. Nah, really. I don't know how I do this stuff. As a kid, I put pneuma into my toys. I made my earthen sparrow fly, made my whistle give a tune without being blown. I practiced for years, but by doing, not by understanding. She puts her hand on her hips and observes her clean nails. I can't teach stuff that's in my fingers, or my eyes, or my breath. It's just a part of me. The gargoyle? Can an enchantress show off her trophies? She gives you a proud smile. My sentinel took it down years ago. The tribe of Old Pagos is fond of my statues, so I have my own, like in the old days, long before monks came to the north. Seeing her puzzled look, she twirls her hair. A dead gargoyle on the road or by the village gate was meant to scare off evil spirits. I don't know what about that, but its sight sure taught the local beasts know who they're dealing with. High Island? Of course, but I didn't pay much attention to the monk's tale. She doesn't share you with you much. You may want to ask Foggy. I don't think she told us much about that. Anyway, let's get out of here. We have to look around for a meadow to find the flower she's looking for. Let's see, can I do anything before I leave? Doesn't seem so. Let's sleep here. We'll get hungry, but we can eat at Foggy's. The rain once again hits the ground. Ooh, that's gonna be bad. Because we're in the middle of nowhere. And we have to travel. The days are getting shorter. Yeah. It'll take quite a while, but we can go to places. The bridge. Nothing. The cabin, there's wolves. Prepare for another chasing the first few members of the pack of spotted wolves, but this time they only observe you. A few howls come from a place you can't see, and the colorful animals turn away, vanishing to the leaves. They're afraid of us. Yay! Cabin, nothing. Keep going. The spot with copper. I could forage. No. The Wanderer. Make an offering, I wash myself. Oh, a fish trap. Hey, we got 3 fishes. Let's move the trap. And eat by Foggies. You guys want to talk to me about stuff? You know, I'm not going to ask about High Island anymore. Oh, the ocean necklace. Ah, one of those that shine the sun. The folks from Gale Rocks make them from the shells of the dead sharks they found on the coast. Ask about the probable owner, but she has had a puff. Could be anyone. 3 meals. What about my actual meals? Up. Wanna eat. Alright. Let's go to Creeks. It's too late to leave for the road, but I can... You know what? Let me go to the ruined shelter. There was a cliff we might have been able to climb. Maybe. Also look for the hunters that are missing. Nope. They might still be inside the deep woods. So there was the cliff. No. Grapple? Grappling hook? No. Rope? No. Tools? Oh well. Let's go to Creeks. How long do we have here? An hour. Return to Shoshi. She's preparing for work, but it's already giving you a few moments. I wonder, Daddy from Middle of the North is looking for hunters. Are you up to the task? She rests her axe on her shoulder and makes a wide grin. Now that I have nothing better waiting for me here, friend. If she's looking for a folk who can take a swing, take a hit, and take a few steps into the woods without getting mauled to death, she'll find no better soul in this boring-ass land. Alright. Old Ava won't tell me about nothing. Efren. About the hunters. You know who Thais is, right? She may need your help about Orentius. You vaguely describe her plans, but he doesn't meet your eyes. Focus on the work at hand. So you offer to address his tribe, but for a few breaths, or you only hear the sound of the hammer, which Eli is using to put together 2 blocks of wood. And what are your thoughts on Thais, friends? She has her flaws, but she's useful to me. He puts the frame on the workbench with a loud thud. Don't be an ape. If she's agreeing to work with you, it means she gains more from it than you do. Call this tyrant and be one of the many souls who she'd have betrayed before you gain anything. And she won't be reached by justice behind her walls and guards. If you want to get out of her plots unscarred, deal with Orentius on your own, without the villages. Some of the creeks already agreed to not step in, and if I were to tell everyone that Thais wants to stand her hands through us, they would refuse twice. About the Eastern Path. I clear the statues out of Foggy's place. That woman with a stick? What for? It's the Wanderer, a tutelary spirit that keeps travelers from harm. Give me a food ration. The carpenter's eyes are filled with doubt, but he finally shrugs. Well, it won't hurt us to have a pretty statue on our good side. He asks one of the kids from the square to bring our stomach some dried meat and nuts. Seeing you look, he pats his stomach. What? I'm not paying for that. Your guys are cheap. I got rid of a small pack of dusk foxes that live in the ruined shelter in the west. Dusk foxes? After he meets your science, he hears on. I don't know what that is. You describe their looks and the threat they present as Ela observes the clouds, sometimes asking you to explain more. He finally taps his stomach. Well, better than the tribe of goblins. And what about the ruins? Is the wood staying strong? He thinks about your brief tale and looks inside his wooden case. I admit, restoring this place right away would be a waste of time and effort. We may need your help with it, but maybe next spring, or even the one after that. I'll give you 1 dragon for the news, and another 2 for handling the foxes. That's fair price. Well, friend, thanks for your tales. The hunters and foragers feel more confident about the meadows from here to Foggy's, and even beyond. When you have a day to spare, come here in the morning. Ask our tribesfolk about a job for a Roadwarden unless it rains. You'll get 2 dragons and enough stew to fill your belly for a day of patrolling the roads, and assisting us with our wagons, so the things you're meant to do, right? Also, we can get a regular job. I restored the brook ford that connects the eastern road with the heart of the forest. Oh, I know the place. I don't think we're going to see that many wagons going through there in the next few seasons, but it has been quite a few hours of work for a single shell, and quite close to the beasts. Grace is not so much addressing you as thinking out loud while rushing for the wooden case. His fingers play with the contents for a bit, until he takes the 2 dragon bones. 1 for labor, 1 for the tread. You must say, not too bad for carrying rocks. I scowl. I have to take care of the swarm of bugs to get paid. We have money. We can go and buy the thingy, but we have to stay here later. You guys trust me, by the way? About Efren. He slowly starts to speak, making sure his tribe's folks don't eavesdrop. His soul is clouded. He thinks we have no right to waste what the dead have sacrificed for our sake, that we disrespect them by staying weak. But all of it is just a cloak that hides him. He cares not about respect, but about his guilt. It takes a bit of convincing before he explains what he means by that. Our father died from claws. Our mother died from birth. We used to have 5 brothers and sisters, all of them dead now. Some maybe could have been saved, but not all, and surely not all by being stronger. Yet Efren keeps thinking that he had every opportunity to fix the strategies, and he's to blame for letting them down. Him and I, both. But at least I put my shame to use. We already have everything we need, a beautiful home, enough food, fewer beasts than ever. It's going to be a rough lifetime for us, but our kids will be fine. We'll have to come back later. Efren, whatever. Old Hava doesn't trust me. Maybe if I buy something from them. Meh. How late is it? It's pretty late. Let's get out of here. We'll rest in Foggy Lake. I can spend some time assembling the axe. You gather your tools and let your mount relax for a bit. The entire procedure takes you almost an hour. The curve saves you a lot of time, but using the simple wooden logs and surfaces to put the head in its new place takes a lot of effort. And you do your best to make sure the wooden wedge will get to the bottom of the cut. At one point, you're almost sure it's all for nothing, but the next good hit eases your thoughts. The wedge squeezes in, and just in case, you tie it all with a cord. You take a few swings, then strike a log. The weapon holds. Sharpen the blade and keep it with yourself. Can I do anything with it now? Bronze axe. Bronze is highly regarded for its durability, appearance, and for the ease for which it's forged. Bronze does look like gold. A bit. It's much more reliable than iron, and for centuries was the prime choice among all the fighters who could afford it. As the centuries went by and the crafts people invented advanced forms of steel, bronze became obsolete, especially since it requires not only the fairly common copper, but also extremely rare tin, which seems to be pretty much depleted in the north. Can sell her some stuff. Oh, my bronze axe. 7 dragons. The hook for 3 dragons. The elk fur for 21 dragons. Which is enough to get to 110 money points. But for now, let's sleep. For free! Yeah, we get a free meal too. The dark skies don't let it go. It's yet another night of rainfall. Dang it. Hopefully we can still go to creeks to clear out the place. Free meal. Okay, bye. Takes an hour. Shouldn't be too bad. Let's go and clean the road. I'm ready to help you with the fallen tree. He springs up and leads you to the square. Gather folks for the woodcutting. He orders to the children and waves to the adults to gain their attention. He looks at you with a smile. We have sharp axes, full stomachs, spare wheels, and you can leave your mount at the creek. Nothing like a day of grazing, napping, and shitting, aye? Without waiting for your response, he addresses the approaching souls. None of them are older than 30. Take from the saddle only what's going to be useful on the road. After a few minutes, the crowd gathers next to the bridge, organizing their simple carts and wagons. They are held only by ropes, joints, and leather straps. You notice that one of them carries a pile of a few bulky sacks, so you ask Shoshi with a massive axe about their contents. Just food, friend. She's looking at you with excitement, moving her hips to an inaudible melody. What's on wheels, lights as a feather. No need to hunt in the woods. To illustrate her point, she throws her tool into the cart next to her. Just in case, I keep my axe in my belt. It doesn't take long for the sound of wheels and boots to cut through the songs of birds and insects. Your loud journey is accompanied not just by the sounds of trampled and kicked rocks, but also by conversations of the woodcutters who are spread around without many worries. You cross the Tin Gorge where Ephraim, the hunter, is waiting on the side of the road. He stands still, looking around like a gate guard from the city. But once you get closer, he joins you with an excited look. Also, hello, Gazuyat, hi! If you ask me how it's going, it wasn't going very well until recently. We didn't have any internet for the couple, like from yesterday to today. So, but now it's back, so I get to stream. But it's gonna be a short stream, I got stuff to take care of. Anyway, let's do this job. We have enough money. If we sell our pelt that we've been keeping, we can have enough money to have our objective complete. So we'll just have to finish our job here and we can leave. Get sabotaged. Yes. It was on purpose. Okay, where was he? Your loud journey is accompanied not just by the sound of trampled and kicked rocks, also the conversation of the woodcutters, who are spread around without many worries. You cross the Tin Gorge where Ephraim the hunter is waiting on the side of the road. He stands still, looking around like a gate guard from the city, but once you get closer he joins you with an excited look and a light step, shaking the wolf's head. Don't worry, friend. You may be here to protect us, but my destiny is to keep you breathing to the very end. You seem happy to leave the village. I've been around. He reaches for his obsidian club and swings it left and right, trying to both move forward and demonstrate a few defensive stances. But there's always more to see, and the land as wild as this one changes with every season. You move past the tavern and head south, where you encounter Ilian and Zvi, the foragers. They move through the meadows with a long stick in their hands and baskets on their backs, seeking food in the meadows while also scaring away potential snakes. Once they notice your expedition, they run up the road, where the larger men ask the others about their health and their days. After a few minutes, they reach you and Ephraim. Who's speaking? Ilian. You look both like a flock of vagabonds and a squad of guards with all these axes and spears, says Ilian. Weird to see you all in one place without the walls to hide you, crude as they are. How's today's hunt going? Ilian, careful as usual, reaches for his throwing club and makes a slow throw-jet-like gesture. His polished and lacquered weapon shines in the sun. I hit a blue goose, it didn't have any chance. Zvi scoffs. Aye, on the third try. But his companion ignores it. Now we have a few snake eggs. A good dinner awaits us. After that, they mostly speak with Ephraim about the mouflon he recently delivered to them. Then turn back before you get to the stone statue, wishing you a safe journey. A hostile path lies ahead of us. There's a wolf pack. They are scared of me, but I'm not sure they're going to be scared of the entire troop we have. The farthest away you get from the foraging grounds, the more quiet the tribesfolk grow. The hours of wayfaring are getting to your legs, and the atmosphere grows tense as some of your weaker companions are asking to be pulled on the carts for at least a few minutes. Edmund looks behind you. Did you ever sing in Hoplevan during work? His words are so loud you have no doubt that the rest of the group also heard them. We still remember the tunes from before the war. The city folk find strength when they hear tales of the 10 cities. Shoshi's voice. It'll be easier to show us than to describe it. You recognize Shoshi's voice. Having little breath to spare, you can't be sure your voice reaches the last row of the expedition, but you do your best to portray the Emperor Adir and the fresh pork and bread he brought the tribes. It balances between solemnity and playfulness, and portrays the realm that has its worst days behind. This cutting expedition is going to take a long time. Yeah, we're moving slowly. Once you're done, the tribes folks don't say much until the woman with the big axe gets to your row and pats your back. Then it starts her own song, that turns out to have an almost identical tune. The lyrics have almost nothing in common. It's now just a tale that indeed includes pork and bread, but they're just two of many foods that are now referencing either shell parts or sexual acts. She keeps smiling throughout the entire tune and rests her hand on your shoulder. Some of the other wayfarers either laugh or sing along, and you hear two people clapping to the rhythm. I wonder which song is actually older. The watchtower, we're halfway there. Oh, we ate? We can eat here, declares the hunter, as you approach the watchtower and ask the people behind them to spread the news. The carts and travelers gather in the middle of the crossroad, forming a defensive circle, while some folk unpack food rations. Before you sit down on the grass, Ephraim hands you a humble set of pears and cold roasted meat, then steps away with a smile. You hear him entering and exploring the tower. Once he gets back, he triumphantly raises his sharp cudgel. If there's one spot on the eastern path that we need most, it's this one, you understand? The wolf's head drops on his back as he adjusts. And with your help, the tower is ours. While there's still bugs inside. I consider his words. The locals may not be too eager to give the tower back to the city soldiers. Some of the tribe's folks wander a bit further away, searching the tall grasses for food, as if their habits are stronger than fear. But after the hunters order them to regroup, they stay disciplined. After a short break, the expedition starts to restore its previous shape, while you and the hunter leave them behind, scouting ahead. The overgrown path twists between the hills and bushes. This route has issues much larger than the fallen tree. Your companion's voice is tired and quiet. 2, maybe 3 more years and it will be safer to block it completely. Both of you reach for your blades when a sudden cry comes from down the road. It resembles an ape, a young troll, or a human tormented by visions. It lasts for a few breaths and it ends as abruptly as it started, but it isn't followed by an attack or even footsteps. Stay here. I crawl my way up the hill and observe the area. You push away the leaves and once again hear the cry. It comes from one of the goblins gathered on the side of the road. None of them which look in your direction. Their thick fur and shades of brown and black make you realize that you've encountered the very same pack in the area before. Most of them stand still and in silence, either on all fours or using their crude sticks and clubs to remain upright. 2, however, are hitting the ground with their fists and shaking the empty shell of another goblin, an elder, covered with grey fur, whose upper half is leaning against a tree, while the bottom half is a few feet away in a puddle of blood. The guts spilling out of his stomach don't suggest a promising diagnosis. You get back to Ephraim, who's too focused on his cudgel to adjust the tilted wolf's head. So? Goblins, more than a dozen. They're mourning their dead leader. So it's been wailing. I didn't know they cared. I mean, they get caught by beasts as often as we do. He then frowns as if his words make him unsure but after he shakes his head and adjusts his hat, his confident self returns. Well, there's more of them among the trees keeping watch. Let's get a fair group of fighters and strike them first. They'll flee from our loud wheels in large numbers. You know who to pick, and it won't take long before the pack is crushed. Now, we were told that the only way to crush a goblin tribe is to find their hideout. Otherwise they'll just come back. Let's just spook him. And why would you care? His whispers get louder, and you catch a hint of disgust. The more of these vile creatures we take down, the more merciful the woods may become. Sustains the road. Puts humans in dangers. They may seek revenge once we reach the river. I would know if there was a massive pack of goblins in the peninsula. This one but must be little, and we were well prepared for it. We have a few axes, and there are 3 times as long, as many spears. The beast won't know what hit them. No. The man squeezes the wolf's head, taking it off for a few breaths. Fine. The sudden break of his whisper sounds to you like a shout, but I see no wit in what you're saying. Once you reach the rest of the expedition, the instructions are clear and simple. The few voices argue it would be better to fight. Everyone mentions that your conversation says that we pay the Roadwarden for guiding us, so we won't ignore direct instructions. You make sure to be louder than you need, adjusting the occasional shout and the sounds of wooden handles hitting the wagons to the noise of the boots and wheels. When you reach the bloody spot, you only find the legs and loins of the Great Goblin. One of the woodcutters mentions it's too bad there will be no goblin tusks for necklaces, and the other nods in agreement. Roadwarden asked for it, a forager response, starting a wave of chuckles. The hunter seems grumpy. Don't worry, you have many journeys ahead of you. You can fight and die on your own when I'm not there. That's not too bad, says Shoshi, as you reach the fallen tree. It's thin, we can surround it. The workers divide the tools and use the carts and wagons to form a barricade, explaining that they'll move them once again when it comes to loading the timber on them. Prepare your own belongings when you notice that the tribe awaits your command. I don't know how to cut a tree, guys, I'm just a Roadwarden. Just do whatever. They're not as... When we had to guide the expedition to clear the road on this side, they were working on their own. They didn't need me to instruct them, but on this side, they seem less confident. The broken wagons is the first task that the workers take care of. The few dozen souls that arrive here will be enough to simply push the trees to one side. It will be an exhausting task for lesser numbers, will take them little time. Use the crags to observe the area moving around without haste. The distracting noises of your group scare away many of the creatures. The eyes that observes you are mostly spread around tree crowns at the highest points of the hills. You spot a few ibexes, monkeys, and many birds, but no cats, runners, dragonlings, or wolves. I miss my saddle. The saws and axes split the tree in a few spots at once, while the less experienced members of the group trim the branches and carry loads of wood, until they ask to replace the exhausted woodcutters. Then the work slows down, but never stops, and while the constant noise finally lures the presence of a small dragon that's walking on 4 legs, each one as large as a human, seeing your large group makes it turn back, even though you would most likely be unable to pierce it to its skin. After another few hours, no one has enough fortitude to start another conversation. Once the carts and wagons are ready, the crew demands a half-an-hour break. We can't really avoid that. And now we have to go back. Ugh. The road back is rough. The heavy blocks of wood require the dragging crew to take turns every few minutes, hoping that no one will get pushed to exhaustion. Oh my, it's almost nighttime. Oh wait, no, never. Oh yeah, it's 1 hour before dusk. When we're halfway through. Uh-oh. Crossing the bridge is the worst part. Lifting and dropping the vehicles is too dangerous for the primitive wheels, and one of them breaks, needing to be replaced on the spot. One of the foragers finally proposes heaping up soil into temporary gentle slopes, which once again takes a lot of time. You and Ephraim sit down at the stream bank observing the water. Let's hope we reach the tavern before nightfall, he states simply. You're so exhausted that seeking an answer takes you a bit of time. You could use a better bridge. Keeping it fixed would take many dangerous journeys. I'd rather see a proper bridge made of stone, but the folks at Old Pagos haven't made one in however long they've been around. He leans back, putting the weight of his back onto his arms, and observing the darkening sky. So maybe one day when we have enough savings to buy the materials ourselves. Once you're ready for the rest of the journey, you don't really feel like getting on your feet. Eye of Dragons, huh? Hey, we're at Foggy's place, and it's nighttime. Oof, good. That could have been bad. Foggy and her crew welcome you at the gate, with their few tables, benches, and chairs move outside the palisade, inviting everyone to sit down and eat. Though more than half of the crew has to sit down on the wagons. 2 of the foragers refuse their meals, instead laying on the soft grass. You all get a bowl of warm stew, heavy in fat, with snake eggs placed on top of a piece of pheasant meat. The vegetables are properly seasoned and juiced, though you'd love to have an extra pinch of salt. The worst part of the road is behind you, and while people remain quiet, they eat with enthusiasm. The tavern keeper approaches you and Ephraim. It may be dark, but you feel as if she's covering with a devouring shadow. Well, loves, how's the road? Worth the effort? God, no. That was an entire day for only $5. At least we were fed. I can stay here for free. Oh, the doggy wants to leave. Give me a second. I gotta let the dog out. Go, doggy, go. Goodbye, doggo. Back to our adventure. While the hunter sighs, too tired to say a word, you indulge her appetite for gossip. Describe what you've seen, and as she sketches her large chin, she seems uncertain what to say. So the real gloom is behind the tower, but even before it, we'd need more work. You chit-chat until Ephraim starts to wake up the napping workers with his boot. No time to waste. Are we gonna travel at night? Oh, God, I can't go back. I can't travel back to Foggy Lake. It's nighttime. Saved! A woman with a big axe crosses the gorge with laughter, and the expedition leaves the cart and wagons in front of the bridge. Seeing how dark it is, you're not surprised to learn that all loading will occur after dawn. Not like anyone's going to steal it, says one of the foragers, but everyone makes sure to take the remaining food rations. We were lucky, but let's not tempt the beasts, says a hunter. Just as the tribe welcomes your group from the open gate, I believe laughter fills the little village. They seem surprised to learn that no one got seriously wounded. But that's because we didn't fight. Ela and Efren shares a brief embrace, but the carpenter doesn't hesitate to mention the hunter's smell. You realize you also need a long bath. If they betray me now, I'll kill them all. I want money. The carpenter reaches for a little torch and asks you to follow him. 5 dragons is a lot, but I'd pay 4 times as much for keeping everyone safe. You did a good job, friend. He opens the wood cask and counts down the pieces of bones. Tell me, Leto, what do you think? How's the road? You now know how a merchant may feel on it. Could be worse, I guess. Oh, I bet. He pats his stomach and pushes the coins towards you. It's all just a beginning, but so far I've known that we're moving in the right direction. I'm tired. The carpenter pauses for a long while, then starts to draw an invisible map on the workbench, with his fingers muttering to himself. Yes, he says slowly, you've already done more on the road than I expected, friend. I dare say more than any outsider in this generation. The tribe can take it from there. He reaches for something resting on a log beneath a table, then turns it towards you. You already received your pay, but maybe you'd like to take a hair pelt as a gift? Foggy doesn't need it, but you'll get a dragon or 2 for it in another village. You take a look at the fine fur and roll it into a more mobile shape. Seeing how Ela observes you, you tell him to just ask. I can't figure out what pushed you to be this much of help to us, friend. I know some of the things you've seen were just on your path, but others took a true risk. I need the money. We don't have much left. He chuckles and pats his stomach, but my tribe agrees it's a good deal for us. His other hand reaches out to you. We don't have much, but come here another spring or later. You'll see the real change in the peninsula. If I'm ever around, I don't plan to be a Roadwarden. I'm not gonna cure it. So maybe Gale Rocks, I need to work a bit to get a deal for the city, to get paid even more. Guys, can I stay here? Guys, please. Don't make me die in the nighttime. Please help. Please help. Guys. Oh, you can't sleep here, but there's still time to travel to a safe spot. You can find the closest shelter at Foggy Lake. Thankfully, this part of the peninsula is safer than most. Ugh. Good thing. We won't get slaughtered in the night. Oh! I think I've done enough to earn your trust. Tell me more about the stuff Asterion brought you. She observes you with silence, with the patience of a statue, then sends the one-handed man outside with a nod. After a few minutes, he brings from the basement a simple package covered with wax, tied together with a couple of cords. She removes from them in silence. The scent of honey fills the air. She raises a dark cloak, green like the trees covered by shadows. The shapes of the leaves were embroidered on the surface, with a silver-like thread from the hood to the very bottom, about the size of your hand, spread sparsely elegant, each one of them. It's heavy, most likely rainproof, but the inner layers is downy, made from lamb's wool. Every scrap of this garment was touched by a master. There is magic in it. Foggy's voice is solemn. Keeps you warm at night, without a fireplace. Makes Ross feel like fur. Oh, I can have that? He needed the dragon bones, was planning to travel somewhere. Needed coins for a boat. She folds the cloak and packs it again, trying the cords with her thoughts. I told him to look in for it in Gale's Rock. You wait for her to go, but she changes the topic. I wanted to sell for 50 dragons, but if you're interested, we'll see. I won't ask for a fortune from a friend. Where was he headed? To everything I know. How much for the cloak? 18 bucks. I can afford it. The magic cloak. So I can sleep wherever I want. Okay, but first let me sell the pelt. 21 dragon bones. I feel like that's the maximum price. Boop. So how much money do I have now? 115. Ugh. The cloak is 17. Buy it. I'm gonna sell the second axe. No, I'm gonna sell the berry picking thingy. Boop. We have 101. We made it. That's our personal goal accomplished. Ooh! With Asterian's cloak, you can fall into a long, deep sleep. I can restore a lot of health. Which is good because I can use this to feed the tree down south. Good. We have better sleep. You struggle to sleep thinking of the soul you care for the most. You came here to find the coins you needed, and your journey was so long. You wonder how far away you are from reaching your goal. Because we're halfway there. We're at day 20 and we have 20 days left. I get to my bag to start to count the dragon bones I own. You unpack your pouch, or rather your heavy sack. Counting as the content is satisfying, both because of how many of them there are, and the stories the coins carry with them. Some of them you remember for the specific transactions you made, or the places where you found them. Others make you think of the dozens of years that they have behind them. They're in different shapes and colors. Who knows where some of them have been? 100 dragon bones. This is all you need. You take a deep breath. You've done it. Take a wooden box and fill it with rags and coins. I want to be sure I don't waste any before I leave the peninsula. Maximum vitality grows from 4 to 5. Hey, extra health. So now we're back to having 1 coin. That's gonna suck. It sounds easy, but your hands are shaking. You still need to pay from the Merchants Guild. But it's hard to believe how much you own. A single human being, and that the purpose of your journey is no longer a dream. Then you feel tired. You deserve a good long sleep. The halfway point is behind you. In just 20 days, you'll need to ride back to Havlavan. Otherwise, the road will get too dangerous. I can also leave earlier if I want to. Look at that. We have a super heart. Let's get our free meal. I can sell my bronze axe, but I think we should make some money by going to Gale Rocks and turning in some quests, and also going west to the monastery to get some stuff to read. I can go to White Marshes to turn in some stuff. Yeah, let's go this way. And also we have to look for the missing hunters. I could go to the heart of the woods. Might make some money by hunting or fighting down there. And we have maximum health and super armor. Then I can move north. Make like a big circle like this. No, I need money. Let's go to Gale Rocks. We have something we have at least one thing we can sell there. The ring we found. At the tailor, I think. I have the bone ring. Take it for $2. And this necklace I found. You show her the strips that's holding a bunch of flakes and shells. And she only gives it a glance, then gets back to sewing it. So old. The ones I know I make are elegant. Tell Glosh I can give her a new one, but the next time she speaks to our head woman, without visiting me, I'll kick her teeth out. Oh, so she knows about the bandit, huh? And they're visiting the head woman. The fisher's here. Oh, I have a job for the druid. Will pay me by healing me. If I take this job, I have to do it right now. Sure. What? I owe nothing to that old fool. I can have it here tomorrow, but if you want it, but you better have a coin. Whatever. How about the spirit rock? Everybody tells me it's a bad idea. Ido show herself to me to a stone will likely kill any shell that can't hold a stone's pneuma. His face turns pale. She said this? He cleans his throat, he squeezed the monstrous beak on his chest, and his courage returned. Then you've spoken with her, and you know she's crazy. Instead of checking with people, you should just bring me what I'm paying for. The old druid said it was a bad idea. Spirits, why would I ever listen to this pagan nonsense? Pushing this lies into you is. The warlock also says the same thing. Who cares about some skeleton shaggers? Okay, well, we have one more person we can ask. The monks in the monastery. This is the head woman. Let's see. About the lost merchants. They're robbed by Glacia. Her gaze is grim, but after a simple "I see," she reaches for a pouch, then puts 5 dragon bones in a single row and pushes them in forward. Thank you for your assistance. You don't sound surprised. She must have known. She looks at her granddaughter, who, without even noticing, has lowered her crossbow. Doggy! I asked Glacia about this very thing, I did. I don't think you mistaken, Roadwarden. It's a natural step on her path, but it means she lied to our people. And I won't be able to afford the confrontation. I'm grateful to learn it. Let's see. Do the bandits help? I only have like one more question. You guys want to fight? The necromancers? She purses her lips, then reaches for a seashell, taking a sip of the water and observing the exit. Alright, I can't answer without speaking with the council first, but no matter what we decide, I think it's time for a group of fighters to experience Howler's hospitality. Tell Ty she'll have some explaining to do. Decision will be made when the time comes. Alright, so they're not, didn't say no. What do you think about the necromancers? You almost jump away when the crossbow woman shifts her position, but she turns out to be just be uncomfortable with the way she's sitting. Severina smirks, but as she starts to speak, her voice grows worried. What happens in White Marsh is a sign of cowardice and weakness. I've seen my share of harsh years, and I sympathize, I do, with tribes that had to feed their people with tree bark, or decide which rich mother will feed enough to feed infants. But all them walking corpses will get out of their charms and murder their masters like they always do. Instead of hunger and cold, they'll face the end of their souls. All we can do is keep ourselves safe. Let's get out of here. Anything else I could ask? The armorer can sell me some arrows. I have 4. I'm fine. The cook won't give me any food. The gossip? Well, debit. I paid for gossip without meaning to. Whatever. Matchmaking. The people in Hallersdale want Timo over here to join them if they abandon their religion. Response with a smile, then warm laughter. And that's all? Of course I agree. As long as she teaches me the empire dances or whatever it is they do, they'll arrive when the spring thaw to meet her. Without anyone else, I suppose. He's first to mention the compensation for your services. You already helped Marina, right? Better speak with our head woman. She'll pay me. Hey, pay me. Damn it. I have to come back tomorrow. Let's go back on the road. We have something to turn at White Marsh, but I want to go to the monastery first, but it's 6 hours away. 6 hours away! I'm gonna go... Let's go. 6 hours. Let's go and stop at every stop down the way because we're gonna find a missing hunter. The crossroad, I can forage, but no thank you. At the ford, I have special anti-mosquito spray. That's the ointment I carry. You open the ointment, getting hit by the unappetizing scent of lavender, mint, and basil. You apply a thin layer of balm to your open skin and as well as to a few spread spots of rose. You hope the smell won't stay for long. You carry on. The swarm notices you right away, gliding at you like a dark boulder, but before you collide with it, it shatters, forming a tunnel-like in the middle. So the buzzing gets even louder than before. A few extraordinary resilient gnats still sit on your horse's back, so you try to throw them off. Riding through this path will be much easier from now on. No, it's 2 hours away. Hey, that's much faster. Cool. This crossroad doesn't have anything. Old Pagos. The plagued place. Oh. The wood is still covered with Pebber's leftovers, as well as all the leaves and branches on the ground, but at least the beast is nowhere in sight, even though there are some fresh paw prints just nearby. So the locals will be angry about the wasted fruits. Okay. I bet the base elements warn you locals about the plague. You don't have to worry about their safety. Thank you, Warden. She bows her head. I asked the council to rethink our isolation. With the gates and doors of our neighbor closed, we could start seeking foods after all. Maybe even send outside a few hunting trips. Have you seen any hunters? The answer is probably no. Nope. Eudocia, the enchantress from the east, wants to know if Eulalia and Arrhenius avoided the sickness. A long, uncomfortable silence. She's too late. They were asking for their daughter in their nightmares, before the illness took away their tongue. We burned both of them on the same day, if it means it to her. She looks down. Tell her I'm sorry for her loss. I hope she found the peace she was looking for. Necromancers from White Marshes. You don't go too far through the explanations before Tertius chips in. We're talking about a raid. Such decisions belong to the entire tribe. Wait here. After a few minutes, a small crowd gather beneath the gate, and an old man encourages you to start from the beginning. You try, but the locals are eager to argue with each other, often interrupting you. Because of their heavy accents, you struggle with following the debate. But you catch the tribe's anger, fear, and shame. Finally, a vote takes place. With raised hands and silence, the older woman clears her throat. Shadows fill those who awaken the dead, no matter their reasons. Yet there's no wickedness greater than the intrigues of Thais, the traitor. We don't trust the other tribes, and we've got to endure our own isolation. We won't help you, Warden. We also not stop you. The brown-eyed woman returns to her people, giving you a vigilant look. Be careful, there are the people of Howlers. There are venom fangs behind their masks. People might be able to cure your plague. I may know a way to help you with the plague, you begin. Hope we think you end your story. Various voices interrupt you with all sorts of queries, which result in a long and chaotic conversation. As their enthusiasm rises, more people approach the gate, chiming in with their doubt and asking for things that have already been explained. Through the hole in the gate, you see a swarm of shifting faces and clothes. Whatever, it's a waste of my time. Tertia once again shows up in the peephole, observing you attentively. You're right. Is there aught we can do to help you with avoiding the altar? Do you have any magic items? I can sacrifice them. And yet another long discussion occurs on the other side. When Tertia addresses you, their sadness in their eyes. There are no enchanters here, Warden. All the magic potions we had were used to fight the plague, and my neighbors don't want to give away our last treasures to someone they don't trust. We're gonna keep treasures that cure your plague? People on the other side fall silent. The one observes you with a reluctance. It's not the best. It's not the way we do stuff. We won't turn ourselves into mindless beasts. Alright, sure. Anyway, I would have stolen those items and not give them the cure, so they did a good decision. Alright, to the monastery. Can you guys read stuff for me? Yes. I consider asking him to read Ty's letter for me. Can you read it for me? And break the seal? He gives you a hungry look and rubs his hands together. I mean, it's sealed. Unseal it. He puts on a pair of leather from his bag and tells you to put the scroll on the ground. Then picks it up and unrolls it gently. He has to keep the parchment close to his face, overcoming his weak eyes. Unusual shape of letters, but understandable. Same with initials and pictures, but the lines are even. A bit of shabby quill, good ink. He observes the content patiently, then starts to read out loud, though his hoarse voice forces him to take a few pauses. The letter is long and filled with boring, official salutations. One of the parts directly contradicts what Tyus has told you, and even the monks narrows his eyes repeating the entire section. The beliefs of our fathers are sacred to us, but depending on the proof of your goodwill, we'll permit your missionaries to stay within our walls. I promise they will be treated with dignity they deserve. One more part also grabs your attention. This piece of information is sensitive, but I trust that you will put it to good use. Gale Rocks, a village situated near the northern shore, participate in trade with the local bandits, led by their own Galicia. Their alliance grows in strength, and therefore may bring many threats to our potential collaboration. Once he finishes, Ailey puts the scroll on the ground, steps away and takes his gloves off. This is all the stuff are in howlers. Interesting, Warden. He adjusts his hood and spares Decima a grateful nod, reaching for the cup of water. I look forward to seeing the priest of the United Church and other soldiers. So it's not. She hasn't betrayed me, but she's not strengthening. She's trying to strengthen her position by saying that Gale Rocks is working with the bandits. I'm looking for the summer hunters. Have you seen any? No. What do you know about the necromancers? This and that. I saw Aurentius' ritual. He strengthened his weak spells with blood magic. During the report, Eli avoids Decima's piercing gaze. That would clarify some doubts. His tribe was always weak on Numa, but from what I thou saith, he's not a sorcerer but a madman. Fine looks back at his companion. His voice grows stronger, and we'll need to take it to our prelate. Okay. About the spirit rock and the guy who wants to give it to his daughter. Nah, I wouldn't bite it in aught touched by that witch. He hides his bandaged hands behind his back. Why does the father think it may work? You portray the situation as accurately as you can. Eli gets close to the cliff, observing the river beneath. It's spending a good 3 minutes to consider the situation. Suddenly he turns towards you with wide open eyes, making his companion stagger. He's lying to thee, he announces with a great dose of enthusiasm. He seeks no cure for the lack of Numa, but rather from the lack of soul itself. Before Adir's crawling to greatness, the tribes of the Dragonwoods saw the spellless children as empty shells, throwing them to the beast just as often as they did with the crippled and the short-witted. There's this tale. He glances at you. Thou won't remember it anyway, but the tablets carry no doubt. Tribes shan't hurt those touched with this condition, as there's no such stuff as soulless children. Okay, now about Aurentius, the necromancer. How we know our prelate's response? His tone could be explained with that every autumn is followed by winter. Thou mayest think there's a difference between this tribe of druids and the tribe of necromancers, but they're both lost to desire. With enough time, they'll find themselves dwindling. There's no reason for us to interfere. Okay then. I have... How much time do I have? 5 hours and 45 minutes. Let's pass through the heart of the woods and rest for free in the tower. Open the gate, please. Do it. Let's go to the middle of the forest, because there was a sudden path we didn't take. The more we pass through the forest, the easier it's gonna get. You approach the monkey's territory. While the dwellers still grunt and shout at you, you don't see any flying sticks and acorns. Cover our head with our shields. Surprisingly, there's not that many missiles around, as if the creature's zeal has been subdued with the previous ineffectiveness of their attacks. The few items that fall are bothersomes, but nothing you can handle. Thankfully, the monkeys don't chase you for long, and after maybe a minute, they stay at the edge of their territory, the whole only yelling at you. I have to clean my shield. You see a strange creature in the distance, not smaller than a bear, with a troll-like posture and a dense red fur. It's turned away from you, crouching near a fresh deer carcass, tearing away the flesh and stuffing it into its mouth, just in case you try to ride along it. But you get lost again, avoiding the trap-like corridors of fallen trees. At one point you reach a bright glade, with sparse brushes and a colorful meadow. Some of the plants bear berries that shouldn't be trusted, but you can also find a couple tasty-looking green and yellow apples, plums, and old strawberries. You spot no larger creatures than just a few monkeys, rats, and birds. I remember the old story about an old orchard in the heart of the woods. I head straight for the hazelnuts, then get away from there. You follow Fulvia's instructions, starting the nearby animals, and grab as many nuts and apples as you can, shoving them into a sack. The orchard is peaceful, but from time to time the distant roars that make you flinch. Maybe the red beast tearing its prey to pieces returns to you with every loud rustle. Let's get out of here. We made it. Let's go south. You grab Rose's lead and uses your axe to get through the branches and the tall grasses. After a few minutes, you reach the colorful meadow, with orange, red, and white flowers as tall as wheat. Their late summer scent lures all sorts of insects as well as tiny birds. The path ends at the edge of the glade. Okay. And at the edge of the glade. Don't look at the trees, look at the ground. You tether your mount onto a tree and tread forward carefully, keeping your eyes on the weapon low. Soon a corpse hits the ground and you wipe the blood off your axe. Hey, that worked! You take a deep breath and crouch by the 100-legged worm, as well as your fist and 3 feet long. You intended to crawl up your boot, but you cut through the red plate covering its armor with a confident cut. Anything of value? You step forth to mice and insects spread, but your presence remains hardly noticed by the colorful life around you. Look for the flowers. With a few minutes among the grasses, you move uphill to get a better view, and it just happens to be the spot where the orange tulip grows. You don't resist your knife. Alright, let's head east. Actually, we can go to the bandit's hideout. We have 2 hours. To the bandit's hideout. We can ask them about attacking the necromancers. Oh wait, we also have a necklace. Hearing you reach for something, she leaps away and turns toward you rapidly. But seeing the trinket, she stands still with an open mouth. After a few heartbeats, she clears her throat and reaches towards you with an open 4-finger palm. So it is, stranger, but I didn't want to keep around sentimental rubbish. Cheers, I guess. Rufina will make you a new one next time you get home, and she'll kick your teeth out. She observes the necklace in silence and glares at the dental. I ain't sure I like your nosiness, but I'll admit that I'd like to see Rufina kick in those fancy togs of hers. I need to help her before I can do anything. What if I lie to her? Lie. I found a shell in the woods that matches the description you gave me, mauled to death by beasts. And you sure I won't find them prowling around? It would make me very angry, it would. So you describe how she can still find his blood among the grasses east of the stone cairn. She scoffs. That's what happens when the wolf leaves its pack. Okay, so now I can ask for more information. She gestures for you to sit down on the bench, though its ages makes it look more like a rotten log. With hands on her side, she looks across the hamlet. It'll be easier for you, though it'll take you into a fetid place. Those cowards from White Marshes won't let us in. Not that I blame them, but they may welcome you if you have any charm at all. Staring into your eyes, she speaks slowly. Get there, through the bog spread to the west road, and look around. Count the awoken, or see which side of the village is poorly guarded. What weapons they have, and what they are made of. She sits down next to you, and her arms burden your shoulder. I don't care about your trade. I need you as a spy, Leto. Someone who can shut their lips when they speak to my enemies. I have a small pouch ready for you. Or 2 healing potions. Can you tell me how to get on the good side? They're a harsh tribe with hardship and hungry years behind them. That listen only the strong and the gritty, unless... None of them agree with the necromancer. The warlock Tursus. That's not gonna happen. Tursus, we already felled them. What did White Marshes do to you? She takes away a piece of the roof that has fallen to the ground, and without any stopping turns full circle. Maybe it's her stride that helps her maintain their angry tone. Into the fall of Steep House, I returned there a few days later to torture these neighbors left behind by the scavengers. She glances at a few men whose eyes are focused on the ground, and a few others were hiding in between me in the cave. A rook tries to rest on her wooden post next to her. We pushed the ashes aside, dug in the soft ground, even jumped into the stream, but there were no shells awaiting us. Ghouls, we thought, runners or goblins. We traveled far those days to warn our last few friends. Awoken will strike. We told them make clubs, dig moats. And within this very hamlet, a year went by, then another. We saw the first enslaved shell in white marshes. The deeds of Orentius, the priest. We thought little of it, not the first sin of our lifetimes, until we realized it wasn't merely their dead they were awoken. They'd taken my husband, his parents, and many others, wagons of dead flesh. We spent a good minute in silence. We're but a band of workers. We can't storm walls or send an army of beasts to punish evil acts, but our works bears fruit. And we'll find a way to get rid of the necromancer, or make their lives so dire they'll leave their homes on their own. Do you want to ally with Thais? She slows down, with every step raising her eyes, then claps her hands behind. From all the bloody souls in the north, this troll cunt is the one who tries to do the right thing. Tell her I'll be at her home soon, but I'm not putting away my blade at the gate. We nod in silence, and as she shares the news with the rest of the band, they react with angry grunts, but not a single word of disobedience. Is Howler's Dell next? Maybe. I think we've got all the people who would want to attack White Marshes. We should pay a visit there and see if they can let us meet with the leader before we try and do an attack on them. Either way, we have to get rid of the band of the necromancer. That's part of my job here. Let's go east. We can rest in the watchtower once we get there. You stop your path free to fix your eyes on a critter under a lonely tree. I think if we do 2 or 3 more trips, we'll have the entire map, the entire central path mapped out. You stop your path free to fix your eyes on a critter under a lonely tree. It's furry, shorter than your arm, no taller than a hand span, with tiny ears. It's mostly brown with a white stomach and a black tip of its tail. Nibble like a cat, it pokes with its nose something among the tall grasses. The stoat tears apart the large nest made of twigs and leaves, one of which remains are still hanging from the branch above. You pay attention to the rustling leaves and take a deep breath. The blooming water would cover up your scent. I'm sure I can hit the stoat with a quarrel. Shoot it! The bolt pierces the side of the little shell, hits the tree, and shatters. The critter whines in pain, but takes only a few short steps before it chokes on its blood. By the time you approach it, it needs no mercy. You crouch to pick it up. One could turn the shell into a nice pelt. The creature is warm, but still, with wide open black eyes as round as pearls. You raise your eyes at the clouds. The remains won't last more than 2 or 3 days of late summer weather. Better look for a buyer soon. Probably the guys south? These hunters? Either Foggy or the pelt in the north. Pack the stoat into an empty sack. You do the same part of the forest where you encounter the corpse-eating beast. The rocky hills are green, with colorful flowers and lively buzzing insects. You secretly hit threats hidden in the grass. You notice a single soul standing on the distant rock ledge. They call you with a gesture. Who do I see? Give me a second, I gotta blow my nose. Okay, it's a man with unlaced black gambeset covering a simple cloth shirt. He has the short dark hair of a laborer, neither tall nor short. You see no weapons. He's standing near the entrance to a cave and keeps looking around. Well, let's go to them. After you reach the crag, the man is crouching on its edge, observing your surroundings. His clean-shaved face tells you of sadness, but also of acceptance. His elbows are resting on his knees, hands clenched together. A gentle wind brings you the smell of soap. He can't be older than 30. Okay. The man frowns at your face, but doesn't return. He has a symmetrical, handsome face, healthy, tanned skin free of scars or blotches, the blue eyes of a sage, and a muscular figure, and Havlavan would be a perfect recruit for a group of actors. He could play an emperor, or a hero from Wright's tablets, or a commander, or an evil rich merchant. Finally, he scoffs. I've seen you before, I did. His words are close to a whisper. To your left, there's indeed a good view of the lone trees. You're riding from that furthest wolf like you had the runs in your ass. Stranger. Let's continue. We made it! It's not nighttime. It's not nighttime yet. I can make it to the tower. Whew! That was a close one. Let's rest here. Asteria's cloak may keep you warm, but it won't be able to protect you from all the crawling creatures, so we'll just be resting. Let's go. Your sleep gets distorted by the foul stench coming from your bundles. Dang it. The raw fish meat is now rotting. Its taste will get worse with every day, but even now you struggle to imagine that you could continue your journey with the smell around. Alright, throw it somewhere. Oh well. Too bad. Let's go to the cabin. Actually, no, let's deliver the flowers to Eudocia. We have to meet with her in the morning. I have your flowers. I've got your dragons here. Her outstretched hand is shaking. I also have your parents. I'm afraid they did make it. Her voice becomes innocent. Back to trade, then. I'm going to lure the person my spirit rock for you by 2 dragons. I think that's fair. She opens her grey eyes and uses the tears. Her voice is shaking. I need a moment. I'll brush my horse. Use this hour to rest from riding. You exercise for a bit, practice combat stance with your axe, then brush Rose. When Eudocia leaves her house, she's crouched by a bucket of water and washes her face. Once she straightens up and turns towards you, there's a shadow of a smile on her lips. I'm glad you stayed around, but I'll be fine. Is there aught I can help you with? About the gardens? She thinks for a bit, then meets your eyes. They hold my spells, each one of them ought different. Look, chase, beast, run. The guards are meant to hunt, and I hope that if aught happened to them, I'd have an option to put these enchanted rocks into their shells. That's a good trick, though I'm not sure it'll work. I better use a few more words like dig or lumber. Can you read stuff for me? You got it wrong. I asked others to write down the words I need, together with pictures, and then I copied them. She doesn't know how to read. You seem to be afraid of the bandits. I'm not afraid. Gasha is fucking terrifying. There's a little tip, and engrave it on your soul. She can't be reasoned with. If you're strong, threaten her. If weak, ask her for mercy, I guess. She wanted to work with me, but I need no right to know her soul is wicked. I think there's something in the deep woods. I don't know how much about these lands. I got other stuff to worry about. There's only one place that I know that I could keep in the entire band. An old lumberjack. Yeah, okay, we know. I guess I need to pay her the rations so that I can gain her trust a bit more. I can buy her rock for $7, then deliver it to the guy who will kill his daughter. But he might pay me money. But we don't actually need any more money now. I'll see if we could get her the rations. Because if I earn her trust, she might be able to do a deal with the city. Cabin time. Hey man. I need to know about the guy who was devoured by the wolf. Let me think. He wasn't all in good shape. Quite slaughtered, you see. It was a male. I saw them before. Name was Vashel. Darker than me, black hair, this tall. He raises his hand to estimate the person's size. Was wearing leather, brown and green. The people at the creeks wear such things all the time. He had scraps of face, he did. And here, an animal bone, an earring. And do you want me to do a job for you? Right. You help me to find this place. I want to be even with you. You're going to look for the camp of bandits, stranger. If not now, then another day. You're really one of those. So listen carefully. Oh, he gives me a tip on how to find it. Whatever. You're gonna stay here for long? No. I'm just looking for you. Tell me your story. I don't really care. It's already done. Whatever. He left. That was already all done. We don't need to hear his entire life story. I already lied to Glasha about it because I wanted to just get it done out of the way. I'm guessing that there's another hunter hidden in the center of the woods. Let's eat at Foggy's place. With a free meal. Okay. Let's go to Gale Rocks. And we'll head to White Marshes. Headwoman, you're supposed to pay me. Right, you work for us. Now I can tell one of my neighbors to overlook the usual fees or duties they'd ask of you. Oh, hey, I get free stuff here? Nice. Do you really want this help? A discount at the boat. Free food could be nice. Alright. You don't just speak with Glacia, you collaborate with her, and just got betrayed. She looks at her granddaughter and nods to an exit. She frowns, raising her crossbow gently, but immediately leaves the room. The perfumed man moves his hand to the grip of his sickle sword, as if trying to compensate for the sudden lack of assistance. Glacia was born and raised in this village, and many of those who joined her band used to be our neighbors or their spouses. We ain't talking here about some strangers that I put a bounty on. It's gonna matter for some time. You focus on the link between the highwaymen and the resident of the trade caravans. I'm sure you've heard about the squad of soldiers descended here by the city. Their fight at Hagg's Hill Pass has pretty much crushed them. Once the official learns that there's yet another group of armed bandits and fully supported by a crucial trading partner, it won't bode well for your current lifestyle. She listens carefully, and her answer is close to whisper. Tell me what you propose, stranger. It's time for your village to join forces with the city. If Glasha is ready to put your lives in danger, you need to have soldiers at hand. So we need to maintain the roads and keep the beasts and bandits away. The crossbow woman peeks inside as if surprised that there has been no bloodshed yet. Severina reacts to it with nothing more than a glance, staring at you like a statue from above, her clasped fingers. Is it too late to admit I'm sure this is where you have been leading me with all your talk? I'm ready to ask the council to listen to you. I am. She can't completely hide the pain in her voice. There's been more and more talk of such treaty in recent years as our lives get harsher than they have been in many decades, and we grow apart from our neighbors. She then notes something on her tablet and gives it to the guard, sharing a telling nod with him. But I ain't sure yet that's what's right, stranger, and the elders and head workers won't be so sure either. You have only one chance to convince us that we should push our family members and friends towards a cliff, and instead obey some outsiders from the city. I don't envy you such a task. Seeing the kind of her grandmother, the young woman returns to her chair. Maybe Glasha would like to know about this? No. Let's speak with the council right now. Let's present our case against the bandits. So you say, Severina moves away from the table slowly, and with a tired sigh she stands up, though it doesn't make her much taller. After seeing the head woman nod, the crossbow woman leaves her weapon, leaning against the chair and runs outside. It takes a while before my granddaughter... Oh. It'll take quite a while before my granddaughter gathers everyone here. A few of the elders elect to pretend she's not there. I'll pick up some berries with honey for us. She heads upstairs, followed by the usual creaking of the planks. The perfume guard approaches you with an awkward smile. I won't ask you to leave the blade in another room, but it would be impolite to face the council. Like a tug. Well, if it gives a better chance, maybe I should have taken a wash. Oh well. We'll be dirty. Whatever. Okay. Many sweetened berries later, the room feels crowded by the comparison with your regular visits, even though there's less than 2 dozen people spread around the benches or sitting on the stairs. You're told to sit down on Severina's chair, facing the entire council. For now, they're mostly ignoring your presence, chatting about the increasing frequency of gatherings such as this one. We're not getting any younger, darling, says an elder introduced to you as the previous head official, and Severina responds to him with a smile warmer than you've ever seen from her. That's alright. No one who gets older quicker than I do behind this desk. She responds, and the man chuckles. You've met some of them already, but the perfume man is eager to announce every newcomer to you, dropping many names and the roles they're responsible for. Most of the elders are described to you by their past trades. Artisans, overseers, fighters, and one storyteller drawing a lot of attention with her hoarse, yet sonorous voice. Even the faces you recognize look different, wearing elegant tunics, robes, and dresses with jewelry that for once doesn't get in the way of their tiresome labor. Aside from them, there are a few younger people, the head salter, head cooper, head cook. Even though their backs are stronger, they seem more timid, not willing to interrupt their elders. Gasping for air, Photios runs inside, still buckling his belt, explaining that there wasn't more work to do. No one seems surprised, and one of the other artisans pats his shoulder. Come, have a honey berry. His predecessors invite him loudly, but Severina claps her hands a few times, encouraging everyone to take a seat. She stays at the spot just next to her desk, and for the first time you notice the subtle scent of violet flowers that surround her. We have rough hours ahead of us, we do, she starts. The Roadwarden wants us to reconsider the ties between our village and Glacia's group. It's our group as well, the Fletcher chips in, and after the head digger scoffs, starting to respond, the head woman claps again. We're arguing right now. She runs her eyes over to the crowd. Over this summer, we've all had the chance to present our views thoroughly. Let's allow the outsider to speak in peace, and once this is done, she meets your eyes, we'll open the discussion and move to vote, so the officials of Howlevan may know our answer before autumn. The puzzled looks and murmurs make you think not everyone here was aware of the scope of the topic at hand, but they don't get much time to express their discontent. So speak, outsider, will you? I thought we already discussed. There's bandits that betrayed you. You describe your search for the lost merchants and the bandits' willingness to act against the council's orders. The response is mixed. Some observe you with disbelief, others with anger, but the first words you hear belong to Photios, the head fisher. I'm sure they had a good reason. Reason or not, good or not, we needed those tools, we do. And she takes them back south? Demisha the Cooper raised her voice. We learned how to make iron and spice out of thin air, as one of the elders, for we won't see that caravan again. After a few minutes back and forth, the old man tells you to move to the next things, so that everyone has a broader understanding before they get bogged down with the details. Tell them about Quintus, who she's threatening one of his loved ones. She threatened him? The Salter speaks with disbelief, but Savina takes your claim seriously. If we were to speak with this man sometimes in the future, are you sure this testimony would not reveal you to be a liar? Seeing your nod, an uncomfortable grumbling spreads through the crowd. I need to protect the gate. One of the elders starts, but Fulvia waves it off. They could guard the gate on their own, if they're keen to do so. If you've no doubt that your support for the bandit is justified, why do most of you people have no right to know the truth about everything that Garcia has done? How is that already willing to negotiate with Hobbleman? The endeavor makes the pinch safer, maybe easier than you think. Esther is no longer around, but they also recognize the threat presented by Galicia. People are afraid of her. Yodisha, Yason, train can't go on like this. What do we care about Asterion? You look for contempt in Damisha's eyes, but her answer seems to be honest, and doesn't find a clear answer. Fools are afraid of anything that doesn't boil their pot. Portia, the cook, shrugs the topic off. When Glasha and I were little glasses, she wouldn't even break a squab's neck. A few anecdotes follow, such as the ones about her always caring for her parents, but Rufina calls for them to shut it. Don't speak of her as if she were a child. She is not the same. She went from a tailor to a bandit, from not even a mother to a leader. When you talked with her in the last few years, she wears a different soul now. Locals exchange looks, none of them argue with the tailor's statement. Glacia's band hasn't actually cleaned out the tunnel. I did that. Looking after the roads is harder than it sounds, stranger, said the head woodcutters. I just did that. That's my job. I'm doing it. We used to send dozens of souls every season or less, clearing and cutting. That ain't an easy task. Hearing that, you frown. You mentioned that some of the deeds you are responsible for on the eastern path alone. How is it that I could do all these things all by myself, while she has the entire group that's familiar with the woods, yet does nothing? The silence is cut by the absent voice of Yuno, the digger. She wants the wilderness, she does. Hallersdale has a letter that condemns you for working with the bandits to the city. Thais must have some big plans if she's willing to loosen her grasp, starts Albus the Salter, and the wide-open eyes of the castle shows that they're thinking the same. They stare at you with silence. They look at the headwoman. For a few moments, she turns towards them. What is there to say? If we are to place at the table, we ought to make sure it will be a good one. If you know that your support for the bandit is justified, why do most of your people have no right to know the truth about everything that Galicia has done? She's far from being just a treasure hunter. One of the toothless elders chuckles. Oh, we don't merely hide things from them. We straight out lie, for lying gets more votes. His voice drips with disdain, but Serena silences him with her stare. More of them know than you think, outsider. She turns her head towards you, but I expect all them workers to push away their families. When I moved here as a young girl, I saw my parents only 3 times before they died. Another elder looks at you reproachfully. His eye can see my boy every season or so, and he's not a murderer, and will not apologize for him to anyone. A few people are not in agreement, while others observe their own boots. You can make a risky choice. Should followers of the right really provide support to a group of outlaws? They do seem to be quite faithful. Let's try. The perfumed guard speaks first. Don't go there, outsider. He tries to sound firm, but one of the elders clambers over him. What do you know about the river of order, outsider? Suddenly you are met with questions testing your knowledge, but your own experience with Wright's teaching is enough to help you answer them. After a brief dispute, the locals glance at the hourglass some of them wear, but say nothing. That's all I have. Right, so we've listened, we did. Start the old fisher, whose posture grows more lax the longer the gathering goes on. But why do we trust what the outsider thinks of our matters? Severina doesn't look at you, and her voice is strict. We have no promises to make, and no trust to offer to the stranger. The question is if we see good reason to speak with the city officials. A few of our artisans have spoken to the Roadwarden about our trade, starts Albus, the Salter. The city may have reason to send their mouthpiece here after all. Portia the cook mentioned that from what she's heard at their dinner, you didn't do much good for the villagers. Photios looks at you resentfully. One of the elders, Paulus's grandmother, mentions the help you offer their family. Yulo the digger says that the day you end the village may once again need to use the southern tunnel may be approaching quickly, and that thanks to your help, it won't take as much effort. So it looks like we could have helped a bit more. It's probably because if I did more work, more mundane work, Portia would have spoke up, and Photios, I haven't done his quest yet. About his soulless kill. The perfumed man cleans his throat. Better get to the discussion before we fall asleep. I vote a weak no anyway. Come, Leto. He nods at you and heads towards the exit. We leave the hall. You follow the scent of clothes until the man closed the door behind you, and you heard the thudding window shutters on the ground floor of the keep. As you approach the gate, the village seems more empty than usual, but the smoke doesn't stop coming from the buildings of artisans. The guard tells you to stay nearby, places his pillow on the stairs, and sits down. He observes you for some time, but then tilts his head back, as if trying to take a dreamless nap. Let's wander nervously. You take a better look at the hill, noticing that some of the previous signs of negligence are now gone. No more drying laundry or abandoned weapons. What's more, Severina's granddaughter is now sitting on the wall's walk, dangling her legs with an unloaded crossbow at her side. She doesn't pay you much attention, mostly focused on falcons and harpies circling above the village. Every now and then, some of the screaming and laughter reaches you from the keep. But other than that, the closed door and windows keeps you without a clue. After more than an hour, both of you and the man are called inside. Finally. The eyes inside the keep are tired, yet stern. The council sits on the benches, with one of the elders napping and some of the younger members looking longingly at the exit. The windows are open once again, but the air is still stale, in part because of flower perfumes. Severina is standing behind the desk, leaning on the top, glancing at you with hardly any emotions. You notice that the many of her wax tablets have switched places, and half of them are open. The vote is done. Weak no, she states solemnly. Glasha is one of us, and at least for now, we trust her more than we would officials and merchants. Let's disband and eat something. Oh well. A few of the souls thank you for trying to make a change, while others admit your attempts was fair. The old fisher who found himself something stronger to drink feels necessary for him to take you to the side and explain to you that you shouldn't trust their guilds or priests. You mostly nod, not entirely paying attention. The younger members of the council help the elders cross the yard, and as they engage in friendly chatter, they forget about the gathering quickly. Before you leave the hall, Severina asks you to wait. The people of our village are sharing good rumors about you. Quite a feat it is. If you're as much of a hard worker as I've heard, maybe you'll find a way to restore something we lost to an actual vagabond. Not a young lad, but sometimes called himself Pyros, was staying with us almost half a summer ago, and one day left before sunrise carrying away our iron ingot. Her granddaughter gives her a silent, but pained look. If he had any sort of wits, I'm sure he left the peninsula a long time ago, through the eastern route, or died trying, but maybe he was dumber than I thought. You ask what exactly she wants you to do, and she responds without hesitation. Merely return the ingot. It was nothing more than crude iron, or something to murder each other for, but still. A sin worthy of a coward. And believe me, not the first robbery that's happened to us. I guess I can, but are you guys gonna pay me? You declined the help from the city. Let's go back to the inn and rest. I guess we can do that if we pass by the pelt. We'll see. Now we're headed for White Marsh. Time to sleep. Thankfully, we have free sleep here. Don't tell me it's raining. The shivers wake you up. Foggy is standing by the open door, letting the dense fog in, with her back lit by a lantern. While she breathes slowly, her eyes are keenly observing the area, and after you focus, you hear the sort of shots of roaming saurians. While looking up for a candle, I think of many times I've heard parents telling me their naughty kids that the fogs will take them. And we're back. Free meal. Let's get out of here. No, don't rest. Don't rest. Don't do that. Whew. I should also get south and start feeding Beholder. So once we were done with White Marshes, and we found out the hunters for creeks, and that'll be that for our adventures here. There's more, there's a lot of secrets we can uncover, but I think that's my character already has their personal goals accomplished. So once we have the answers from all the villages, that's my job here complete, and my personal goal complete. So that'll be all the reasons we have to stay here done. Okay, let's head for White Marshes. Hey man, here's your bribe. Tell me about the valid situation. Who? Ah, the letter. Poor thing, a fair soul with too much patience, but there's nothing I can do. Lie, I guess, or Regis already did. Won't be happy with you causing pain to his people, and none of us either. As the hunter was lying too. I bring a message from your old teacher. He listens to it without a word and reaches for one of his bracelets, playing with the wooden beads. I was happy to when I got here, you know. I'm not a loafer, I was ready to learn on the way back. Back then, a priest or ranger saw these spells coming from pagans as disgusting in Wright's eyes. I didn't let go, and as the others outvoted him, those were very different days. Can you sell me bug repellent? Thank you. Can you help me meet with Oranges? And I need to be sure you won't make me regret me helping you. You guys are about to get attacked. His eyes filled up with dread. His dropped shoulders and anxious toes confirmed that your message was clear. I need him to trust me more. Whatever. Let's go to the village. We have to turn in what should we call it? A letter. I should take a stroll and learn more about this place so I can report back to Glacia. I speak with the Valens. I know what's in the letter. Is it his husband who left him? And Laurentius read it and lied to him about it. I'll tell him the truth. At first he freezes and gives a hateful look towards Laurentius' hut. He knew what his speech of shit did, he growls. He always asked to be heard, only to spread lies. Why do I need to find a stranger to hear the truth for once in my life? His eyes get gentler once he looks at you, but you notice the fears in his eyes. His shaking hands offer you the reward. About the tablet. I don't want it. You know what? Take it. He pulls out a bone stylus that perfectly matches the color of the tablet. Together, they'll buy you a few meals at a trader's stall. Good luck for Roadwarden. Alright. Somebody's I noticed a skinny woman with a blue headscarf. She stares at your mouth like a wolf at an elk. Yes? She moves away but meets your eyes and makes a smile-like grimace, then leads you behind the empty animal pen, away from the guard's ears. Her grey hair, mostly covered, is deceiving. She is no older than 30, yet her face is marked by insect bites and pustule scars. She takes confident steps even though she wears muddy foot wraps without boots and a worn simple skirts. She squeezes the front of her scarf on her chest and shaping it into something like a short hooded cloak. But what did I hear? She answers your nods by pursing her lips. I need you to ride somewhere for me. Far away from here, on the eastern road, there's an old bridge made of a single rock. Beneath it there's a rock, and beneath the rock a purse with my savings. Bring it to me. Before you mention your reward, she starts to speak faster, giving the man at the gates a nervous glance. Half of what you find is yours. Bring me the rest. I already found it. She gives you a puzzled look, maybe wondering how to ask what pushed you to dig into muddy riverbanks. But seeing the curious look of the guards, she leads you opening behind the turf house. The pouch was torn and rotten. Here's the only dragon bone I found. She looks at the sky then to the ground. For 2 heartbeats, she can't stop herself from reading the despair in her eyes. But she then adjusts her headscarf, takes a deep breath, and moves her shoulders. I've not even a fistful of berries to thank you, stranger. I'll tell the rest of the village you're a trustworthy messenger, if anyone asks. Hardly anyone does around here. Alright. Alvius. It will sabotage Tyson's plans, but it may help me earn his trust. He doesn't trust me in there enough. I can betray the bandits, I don't care. I know where the highwayman's hideout is. He turns his eyes over your bundles as if you're hiding in the band then frowns. Well? You describe the old hamlet and the dangerous path leading to it. For a few breaths, you're not sure if he's even listening. Then he points at your chin and with his blade. Why are you telling me, Driss? I want to speak with your leader. He nodded in silence. For a moment, you don't see his usual contempt. You can tell him about the woman who asked me to find your savings. Meet his gaze, both harsh and condescendingly. You've no doubt he won't take any accusations lightly. A woman from your village asked me to bring her some lost savings from the east. I thought you should know about this. He still doesn't trust me enough. I'll speak with her, but you're doing the right thing. She's in the tribe's debt and doesn't deserve the right to leave before she does her part. Okay, well... Looks like I just won't be able to meet with the leader, so it's time for the raid, I guess. Let's go there. It's half day. I'm not going to pay you. In fact, I have a parchment for free services. The washwoman, I have an answer for your matchmaking. She shouts and jumps towards you, throwing her arms around your neck. And I had such an awful day, thank you. With tears in her eyes, she steps away, though your clothes and cheeks are already covered with droplets of water. Of course, nothing is said for sure. Her calm words are betrayed by her excitement tone. I asked my uncle Akakios, to not be so rabid when he swaps Dragon Balls with you. Damn it, that's a bit late. In another few minutes of her insisting that you have to come to the wedding, if it occurs, but nothing is for sure. But you must promise. But who knows? But you must be there. You leave her for her friends. Okay. I'm looking for flowers that look like orange tulips. No, I already have those. I can bring goods to sell. The stoat. That's a nice one, but I already have a deal with the innkeeper from the pelt. I'm also hunt of our own. I'll give you 3 wings for it. I have to sell it now. It's been too many days. A hair pelt from Creeks. Do not say. They're learning we buy first from pelt, but 6 rings? I might be able to sell it at pelts. The troll tablet. Nice work, and you even got the stylus? You make for a nice gift. 3 rings. Sure. I could have maybe used it. If I was a scribe, I could have maybe used it for myself. Anyway, about White Marshes. Explain why you want to interfere. The people of White Marshes always keep themselves, but now we got no clue what's going on there. It's possible that they had no other choice but to seek help in dark magic. Maybe they're building an army on our nose. Someone needs to do something. Anyway, our allies. With 3 allies on your side, you'll take the village by storm. The hunters from the Pelt will join you. Severina promised to help you. Glasha agreed to help with you. You should begin your preparations in the early morning hours. Right after you wake up. It's gonna take a full day. It is too late anyway. In this case, let's stick around this place. I can investigate the steep house and I can work with Beholder. Let's feed him some blood. Approach the altar, I make an offering of my blood. I hurt myself quite a bit. I can do it again, but I think I'll leave it like this for now. Alright. The Elder, I don't have anything for them. Sleep House. We're still missing one hunter to find. The barren fields in the southwest. I use the weird sapling to sense if there's Numa buried in the place. You remove the linen sack and shake off the soil from the roots, and dig a hole and plant the sapling in the middle of the field, just to be sure you don't water it. All you can do now is wait, so you brush Rose for a bit and make sure the saddle doesn't bother it. When you return, the plant is dark from sickness, dried up, withered. The field must have been corrupted, still seeing how there are already some plants growing from it. The spell is fading away. The curse is most likely as old as the last harvest, 10 years old. How much money do I have? I might be able to pay to clean the village, which would be good for the traders back in the city, which would mean I would get paid more. Hey guys, first head to the guards. Let's do some axe throwing. Hey, we got some money. I also have a hunter for you guys. Your short tail is clean with a wide smile. I do remember Shoshi. She made quite an impression last time when she was here. So she's bored of the creeks, you saying? I guess I could speak with her. As the rumor spread throughout the rest of the guards, you notice the smiling innkeep standing on the open door. He spares you a polite nod, then goes back inside. Negotiate a price with her help. The goblins... $10. I have... 18. Yeah, that's worth the price. She reaches out for coins and hides them without counting. Cheers, Leto. She looks at the sun. Give us 3 days to prepare for the raid. We'll handle it with a small team. There's a different kind of confidence in her voice, and her stance is more like a leader's. Just stay away from the ruins until then, or you may get a random cord between your ears. Let me go to the inn, and I'll confront Pyrrhus. I cross my arms and straighten up. Give me back the iron you took from the people of Grail Rocks. He instantly reaches towards his belt, but after taking a glance at the guards, he raises his hands, as if trying to calm you down. Come on, Roadster. Without it, I'll have nothing to sell once I get south. Don't try to play me. You stole it long before you lost your belongings. He raises his voice. Aye, but I need it more than some of Fisher's. He looks at you with contempt and scratches his scarred face. Have mercy. Let me keep it, and I'll be in your debt. My taker is heavier than my muscles, but I know how to use my ballista, and I can help you on a dangerous trip. No. Without a word, he nods for you to follow to his bags. Keep a hand on your blade just in case, but the man turns back to you with a brick-sized bundle. He unwraps it slowly and allows you to see the dark ingot. You take it from him at first, underestimating how heavy it is, but Pyrrhus doesn't risk taking the opportunity. You step back, he doesn't meet your eyes. Okay, bye. Tulia. I can lie about Asterion. Your camp is as good as gone. You explain that your broken interest is in worship than she remembers. The scavengers are going to have a feast for a few days, if not more. She rubs the top of her head without the entire palm, gazing at the 2 hunters which just entered the room. No longer my problem. Quite a monster we knocked down, wasn't it? Alright. And keep... Nothing. Can I sell you anything? I can sell you the ingot. Isn't this... He stops suddenly and glares at your boots. Before he speaks again, he closes his throat. I can grab it. Why not? For 17 coins. Meh. The axe? 5 coins. What can I buy from him? Nothing. Let's leave for now. Before you leave the room, Jason knocks on the counter, drawing your eyes. So far, you've been rather useful. You may need to make this place a bit crowdier. If you ever need a room, go upstairs and save your pouch. Hey. You frown. Knowing how you lied to him about your deal with Foggy, you realize you can't count on the innkeep too much, otherwise he may pay you back with his own stab in the back. Cool. So let's not rest here, I guess. How long do I have? 4 hours? It can take 2 hours to go back to Howler's Dell, but we can stay here for free. Let's go back. 2 hours. I guess I'll stay here for the night. Oof, good stats. Your own room with a comfy bed and a locked door and a lot of space. You also get a large blah, 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 with a stereoscope you can find to deep sleep. Oh, we'll get clean. Nice. Look at that. We're clean for the first time in like 23 days. Anyway, let's go for this raid. Let's start this evening. I'll travel to our allies, tell them our God together here. We don't have much time. She straightens up and adjusts her dress. I'll handle the supplies, shelters, torches. With the help of your friends, we can get rid of the necromancers this very day. She looks into your eyes, then puts on a wide, innocent smile. I'm counting on you, Leto. Safe travels. Before you respond, she heads towards the closest guards, leaving behind a strong sense of the roses. We have a long road. We traveled around the entire place. It's now evening. You observe the preparations. 12 guards assisted by many more inspect the straps and cords of the gambesons and the sharpness of their blades. A few of them were planning to take rations of food and water, but are now being told to leave them behind. Whoever is not returning tonight, grunts a man with a short reflex bow as he tests his string. He's not coming back at all. There's quite a commotion despite the cooling dusk air. Families and friends don't spare best wishes and words of wisdom. Two brothers are crying. They embrace with a spearwoman in her 30s, promise her sons shall be with them when they wake up. The last group of fighters arrives in the village, and you head to the gate, ready to discuss the plans with your allies in the weak light of lanterns. Tai shows you her dress powders and rouges, with her deer-shaped buckle glimmering the edge of darkness. When she speaks, others listen. When she makes a joke, they politely join her chuckle. People half her age look away in embarrassment when she catches them glancing at her elegantly spread hair, red lips, and revealed neck. The hunters are here. That isn't with you. There are 6 of them, but only 5 will join you. The last one got sick soon after he got stung by a bee. She wasn't happy about this trip, explained the bald man with a wide nostril, but we ain't going hunting anyway. We'll do. Like the locals, they look like a bed of bursaries. Each one of them has a unique equipment made by various artisans from the different materials. Their jackets are darker and thinner, more suitable for crawling the woods, while their weapons are heavier and simpler. Aside from crossbows, they were meant to pierce animals, not gambesons. The guards from Gale Rocks. The muscular man raises his hands, points at his chest with his thumb, then shrugs his shoulders. It takes you a moment before you recognize him. Tathius, the instructed armorer, looks strange when fully clothed. I'm the one who's going to be yelled at if anything goes wrong, alright? But I'm looking for to be a hero. Once he knows what to do, we'll do it. The 9 people who assist him are grouped a few steps away, eating dried fruits and paying little attention to the gathering. While they all carry similar equipment, looking like a proper squad of soldiers with shields, heavy jackets, and axes, the thin, long limbs of sea folks and the usual heights of the locals make them look timid. And Glacia's band? One would guess her trade just by looking at her. She smiles politely, looking around nervously, keeping her hands behind her back, like a tavern guard on their first evening. But her expensive armor makes her look like a foreign diplomat. Hearing your words, she raises her healthy eyebrow. If I were younger, I'd already grab your hood and be pulling you through the bogs. Let's get this over with. Most of the members of the bands are right behind her, with the remaining 3 looking at the hideout. Their poor equipment is even more evident. Some of them don't even have armor, or carry simple, blunt weapons. They chatted loudly with the rest of the gathering, describing enthusiastically what they're going to do if any of them awoke and try to stop them. Very well. Thais clasps her hands on her stomach and continues to use her city folk accent. I've already spoken with Leto about the village's defenses, and I recommend a simple deception. She looks at you with an encouraging smile. In the cover of darkness, you'll beg at the gates for help, horseless and wounded. Once they open, she raises her palms, moving it slowly from right to left. The others, who by that time will have been hidden behind the walls, with dark cloaks on their backs, will get their feet and charge inside. Catch as many hostages as you can, and force the others to let you meet with Aurentius. Not a laudable maneuver, Tetius from Gale Rocks sighs, but if it works, we'll get what we want without bloodshed. Huntress clicks her tongue, and what then? Do we... Here's what we do next. We need to avoid risk. We'll demand that the villagers hand Aurentius over. No disputes or return to kidnap the hostages. We'll take him away so we can't turn back necromancy. That doesn't work. If he leaves, the undead are gonna kill everybody. I'll meet with Aurentius and see what I've learned during my nose drink to open his eyes. Having him give up necromancy will convince the followers and may save the bridge between them and the rest of the peninsula. This gives you a puzzled look. The more time you spend in the village, the more opportunities you'll give the locals to regroup. And what if he won't listen to you? Once you use the advantage, you'll no longer be able to take him by force. If I fail, I fail. I will take the chance, then see White Marshes suck in blood. Her voice grows harsh. If you fail, our efforts will be wasted on your whims. Really hope you judge your talents well, Leto. Well, if we take away Aurentius, the undead are gonna kill everybody in the village. And then you have a plague of undead in the peninsula. Sounds alright to me. Tatches glances at his guards, who look at you kindly. If only the village may kill it, I'd rather not touch it at all. The more vigilant traders there are, the safer the roads, say what the hunters from Pelts. In order to remain strong, we're making our boss happy. We're in. After a long pause, Glasha starts to wander around the gathering. I've no pity for necromancers. I don't. You want to have a chat with them? Do so, outsider, but don't think I'm going to scat empty-handed. We're here to make the issues disappear, not spoke it. She returns to her original spot. Her eyes leave you with no doubt. She won't take no for an answer. If you push too much, you may regret it for the rest of our lives. Things are going smoothly. The wild beasts, worried by your loud and large band, keep their distance. At nighttime. With the druid help, you find a somewhat safe, though wet route around the creepers, and after observing the lantern-carrying wall patrol, you manage to sneak up, hiding in the shadow moat. After all, the locals were meant to keep an eye on the creatures of the night, not invaders. With a cold wind hitting your soaked boots, you're at the gate, crying for help. The guards call for one another, afraid you may be in danger. Open the gates, you're safe now. The last few words are aimed at you. Do this for the peninsula. After a few long minutes, you're standing by the well, surrounded by chaos and weeping. The hostages are gathered in the center of the animal pen, guarded by your forces. Most of them being defenseless children and elders, as well as a few workers with slim, weak shells. The guards, now disarmed, were squeezed into the nearby shed. Your band observed the walking corpses with a mixture of fear and disgust, the same way the locals look at you. One of yours is already wounded, surprised after he entered a dark alley by himself. The local decision to forbid you to get a good look around the village has already caused difficulties, but the sheer numbers of your allies has made your storm unstoppable. Now even more people gather at the edge of the light cast by the torches, too afraid to attack, too lost and terrified to abandon their loved ones. 4 of your allies are leading Helvius to the rest of the hostages, unarmed, tied with ropes. His face carries red marks left by punches. He spits in your direction but can't do anything. Time meets people who are anxious. Stay close. Your people let you through. You climb the wooden beams, then the squeaky stairs. Locals gather around the building, and the few lanterns they're carrying reveal their eyes. In them you find curiosity, worry, and hints of hopes, or so you think. The boggy air grows denser in the silence. You stand in front of the door all by yourself. I can make a joke. Kick in. Forgive me. Make a joke. With a few breaths, you hear an annoyed raised voice of an elder. In or out, he commands, and you push the door. Without a word, the man sitting on the bench gives you a reproachful look. The chamber is humid and smells of sweat. It's lit by a single wax that stands beneath a brass hourglass dangerously close to an open codex, whose pages are covered with fresh letters. While the large collection of parchments may be of great value, the man has hardly any possessions. Humble bowls and cups, writing instruments, enough candles to keep him company for the next 10 days. You glisten a single pellet placed on the floor. To sleep on it, you have to curl up your legs. Here comes the warden. The priest's voice crackles like a falling branch in the dry woods. To mark my creations and judge me. Before he responds, he turns away. Or else, why did the city send you against me? Not to hold my notes, especially with the band you've gathered outside. Tell me your side. My side? He flinches, then raises his wrinkled chin and clicks it loudly, as if munching on his tongue. What may I say that you don't see? We're to save our people, and I was shown the way to do so. It's not a tale about our lives. My voice won't make them better or worse, for you can see they're carved by the past. As he pulls the neckline of his rope, revealing his skinny neck and chest, you think of all the other people you see in the village. In this weak light, his yellowish skin resembles the very parchment he uses, tightly stretched over his shell, which holds no trace of fat. The hair in his ears and on his ink-stained fingers is thick and neglected, while his shaved face and scalp make him resemble an ill infant. After every few breaths, he squints at his two-colored eyes. His feet are dirty and covered with scratches, while his linen robe is little more than a rag. Do you truly believe your people are grateful for your leadership? I only guide their prayers and offer my rituals. I cannot read anyone's soul. His feet are scratching the floor nervously. I'm sure they may have many different thoughts, but I'm grateful for our mayor's trust. He's young and impulsive, but honest and brave. But even Helvius acts behind your back. I know for a fact he was more than willing to break your rules against hard drinks. You explain briefly what happened, and while his eyes are disappointed, his voice sounds more resigned than angry. It isn't easy for the youth to find much joy in the bogs, especially now, when we see no bars or macromax. We ought not to drink, but we all make a mistake. He also treats the shells with cruelty and sadistic stuff. You avoid your look. You say this much, yet do not know a thing of what's shaped his thoughts or what's happened to him over the years. He wounds no one. His voice grows stronger, and doesn't deserve accusations, even if some feel worried about him. Some people already left your village or plan to do so because of your spells. Let them. I build no cages, no dungeons. People change homes all the time. It's good for the children. He's sure even he doesn't believe his quiet words. Chris already took a stance against you. That's why you made him an outcast. It was his own choice. His raised voice turns to a long cough, then a defeated groan. Yes, there are fewer of us, but those who remain aren't suffering, nor they held in their bellies of beasts. Those who follow me will be rewarded with right's mercy. People are hungry and struggle. He stretches up, leaning against the table. How can you throw this at me, Warden? Do you not know our past? Offer my Numa to the others, only after our children started dying, with bark and toads in their teeth? He has something, but he's casting waves for you to forget it. I won't listen to what you think of for our people, strangers. You must be aware that the undead are dangerous. When left to themselves, like the flame before a hearth, he raised his elbows on the table and puts a finger on his lips, rubbing them gently. To the night that falls a shell, they, like a lightning or the wind, merely part of our world. There are ways to get things done without necromancy. For example, Yudusha's work and use golems. Golems? He waits for you to carry on and has to think about an answer for quite a few breaths. I cannot say I've heard about it, but even if what you're saying is true, we've hardly had anything to give her in return. I'll discuss it. The shells you're using aren't just your own dead. You've stole the corpse of other families. I forgive a starving child who stole a dropped plum. He starts it with conviction, repeating an answer he has well memorized. But seeing your frown, his voice grows shaky. Or moving into a pillaged home. I take no pleasure in my deeds, but I've been right to stain my innocence for the sake of others. You also heard the memories and these other families and tribes. Their will deserve to be respected. Not for single souls to judge. It all makes sense in your eyes, but these things get more complex the deeper you dig into them. Keep the beliefs of others that abandoned you or seek their revenge. There may be consequences that you can't see, but that you just aren't as valid. If you say so, if I put by single thought into it, and not many years of prayer into reading, his words were all clear and are not covered by doubt. He looks at his hourglass, moving his lips quietly. You say it as if you are awakening the undead with your Numa. What's the rituals of blood? Is that part of our world as well? He moves his shoulder with an embarrassed sigh that looks at you with his dark eyes and regains his composure. Suffering? Of course it is. Don't you repulse when you see what you're doing? The blood drying on the cups, the corpse you awaken, it must touch your conscience. The wounds you inflict upon yourself will lead to your death. They may, once my thoughts get clouded, but you cannot see how they've changed over the last few years. I grow stronger. Instead of his fragile shell, drowsy shell fills you with doubt, and more trusting in the right light. Once you're gone, the awoken shell will be out of anyone's control. It will threaten everyone in the north. You're playing a dangerous game. At first he twitches as if your words have pinched him, but then twists his lips in anger. And who taught you these old tales? Are you saying you never experienced any troubles with your creations? You're not sure if you noticed that to avoid this question, for his voice slowly grows stronger and he rests his hand on his side proudly. This is the truth. My people don't die as much from hard work anymore. The awoken shells may be unsightly, but we've had no accidents, no tragedies. Yet, you add, but he spares you only a snicker. You may feel stronger about the undead, but you already changed your views before. Both his light and dark eyes are staring at you as if you're some mysterious mushroom. Mayhaps, he says slowly. Follow no pagan teachings. What I tried to master was shown to me by the Holy Spirit. I'd rather hide my soul than stand against right's will. Move on. Are you sure you should be doing this? It's kind of evil. He gestures for you to sit down next to him and puts a hand on his shoulder. The many types of ink he uses for his works have left colorful dots on his fingers. Green, yellow, blue, dark, black, red. This is a big thought for a layman, but you can trust me. I put years into studying right's will, and they're guiding me through all this. I revealed the truth the Unites and Seekers were hiding in their arrogance. The words they mistook. One day you will understand this too. I grew up in the Fellowship as well. I was always taught to pursue freedom, not security and progress. These awoken shells of yours worry me. You may not be a priest, but you describe the issues and the traditions of your church. Our church has a few pointed attacks on the larger religions of the right, often referencing their greed and hypocrisy, but whenever you bring the attention back to your own views, he seems stuck, trying to finish your thoughts. Even though he's far from convinced, he claims to see your point. He rests his chin on the palm of his hand, nodding along as you assure him that you'll say hello to your people from him once you see them again. You have a good reason to do what you're doing, but you can still turn around from this path. Once you reach the point of no forgiveness, stop before someone stops you. You're afraid. I have faith that you'll find a better path forward. With me around, the past is no longer hopeless. The merchants and officials of Roadwarden are interested in Peninsula. If they come here, your people will face persecution. The many makes them sit in the tower so they can eat from bronze plates and bathe in perfumes made from the blood of the southerners. He speaks faster than has to wipe spittle from the edge of his lips. Neither you nor they can imagine what we went through. You think you, a child taught to ride a horse, to fight and kill, to carry out the wills of the master who had grasped our choices? This weak light, his yellowish skin resembles the very parchment that he uses. Slightly stretched over his shell, which holds no trace of fat. The hair in his ears and on his ink-stained fingers is thick and neglected, while his shaved face and scalps make him resemble an ill infant. After every few breaths and squints his two-colored eyes. His feet are dirty and covered with scratches, while his linen robe is little more than a rag. I can say that I'm trustworthy. Am I trustworthy? I said some lies. Let's not push it. He spares you an absent glance, then turns around, steps away from the table, and falls on his knees. The cabin is so tiny he can lean his hand on the wall. Why do you let me hear this voice again? You think about the response, then realize it's not who you is currently being addressed. I carry all the answers you taught me, yet I'm so torn. I beg you to give me a steady hand. But even now I'm lost, burned by the things I'm asking you about. Or my head. His exhaustingly long prayer gets harder to understand the longer it goes on. The priest's accent gets thicker, while at the same time he adds more and more words from Adir's tongue, and mentions names and events that he'd never heard of before, as if his worries would need a lifetime to unravel. You may not convince the man to trust you, but you've awoken his long-buried fears. So I feel like an hour, the snobbing, snotty man uses the bench to support his sore legs. He stands up and approaches the door. Come, Warden, time to fix all this. Let's not say anything. The gust of wind eases your... The gust of night wind eases your breath. Only now do you realize how much sweat has gathered behind your neck. Your allies are still safeguarding the building, while the terrified and exhausted villagers, sparsely lit up by candles and torches, are surrounding the place so tightly that many of them have their feet into chilling waters. The prophet, who needs to lean against a walking stick, raises his free hand. The candlelight touches his back, but his absent face is covered by darkness. I was wrong all this time. We need to go back. The silence turns into a mixture of resentful shouts and weeping. The elders walk down the stairs, rejecting the helping hands of Tice's men, heading straight to Helvius and his crew. Soon after, you join your band, who still with weapons at hands, keep the locals at a distance. Only a few hostages left, even though you see no signs of bloodshed. You convince the others to give up on necromancy. We're done here. The fighters let out a relieved sigh and chuckle, leading you to the exit. The river villagers also follow, all too eager to close the gate again. Glacia lingers behind, keeping her eyes on the crying priest. With a hateful grimace, she spins her sickle sword as if she's but a moment of weakness away from dashing to the barrier of flesh that separates her from him. Before you leave the village, you notice that the guards from Howlers instead of it drop the weapons taken from the locals and carry the large, filled sacks you haven't seen before. Same goes for the hunters from Pelt. The group from Gilrock keep to themselves, scouting at the others but say nothing. What's going on? Hunter clears his throat. I mean, we ain't leaving empty-handed. We grab no seeds, no food, they'll be fine. The guard looks at you like you're an idiot. Ties let us. Let's move. Then bring you here for plunder. Drop those things where you're standing and let's go. Ouch. Those from Gilrock's done in agreement, but then you hear a loud, "Fuck this," behind your back. Right then you recognize Glacia's voice. Darkness covers your eyes. Unconscious, I fall to the ground. Bleh. Bleh. You wake up in a cart next to a few bags of loot. You sit up, noticing the taint of vomit on your lips. You reach for your aching head. There's blood in your hair. Glacia's voice reaches from you from ahead. While the rest of the group, she's standing by the remains of a large wolf-like creature that's crushing the remains of someone from Howlers. When she notices your gaze, she puts her hands from the side. Now you wake up. Miss the fight. She glances at the others, who are trying to push the dead beast of their companions. You did a bit too good of the job hitting you into that brick, but you got a bit crazy there for a moment. The dead guard lands next to you. Someone pats your shoulder encouragingly, but everything seems a bit fuzzy. Getting no response from you, the bandit leader orders everyone to regroup and carry on. After a few more minutes, you get back on your feet and manage to reach the destination without assistance. You're welcomed by open gates, lanterns, and bowls of warm stew. You don't pay much attention to the tears and embrace shared by the locals. Like most people in your group, you just want to sleep. But the mayor won't allow it. As her neighbors walk away, making space for you, this unusual pattern of blind left on their face, as well as distorted rouge on her lips. There are white specks of powders on her sleeve. She must have taken a nap. Glacia is the first one to speak. She gives an accurate, if unflattering, description of what happened, giving you a moment to breathe. Limiting the sucker punch she gifted you in the end. Hardly any losses, she repeats, with a kind nod. We already have the wood for the pyre. We saved many more souls today, and we'll use the spoils to look after the families. She reaches for the deer on her buckle and gives you a long, curious look. Correct, Leto. I didn't go to rob farmers, you lied to me. She steps closer again, lowering her face, so that no one can see her lips. I tell you what you need to know. The strong scent of cloves hits your nose, but her voice is chilling. If you question me in front of my village one more time, you won't wake up again. She spreads her arms and looks around and says something to her guests, but you no longer listen. All you remember are your heavy steps to the inn and sleep. Hey, we're in full health. And we ate a bit. And took a bath. You spend the night in peace, in a clean bed with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning, you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with fresh pie and with a deer meat. It looks like everything's back to normal, basically. I should visit White Marshes again. Let's see. I have a deal with Howler's Dell. I need to clean the place for creeks. Gilrox doesn't want to do a deal with the city. And now we have to check out the White Marshes and creeks, and then we're done here. But I'm gonna stop here for today. Ugh. We have our personal goal complete, and we're reaching the end, I think. We'll be able to finish all this tomorrow. Obviously, I'm not gonna be, we have a bunch of mysteries. We have Asterion we have to find on the High Island. We have the hidden tribes somewhere on the east. We have the Steep House, which may or may not be holding more mysteries. We have more quests to do. But once we have all the villages, the responses to the city is secured, and we already have the money, our job here is done. So I think we're going to take today we're going to take the shortcut to the woods, to the tower, clean it up. Also look for the last hunter we need to find, and talk to Creeks about it. Because I'm not seeing where that last hunter is. We haven't found them yet. We might never find them at this rate. Which means we will never get the answer from Creeks, which is fine, to be honest. In fact, I think we might not be able to find the last hunter. They might be in one of the hidden mystery areas. Anyway, where was I going with that? Which means we might not be able to get the response from Creeks, but we can check up on the White Marshes. And I guess we'll leave the peninsula and finish our journey. Anyway, that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow for probably our finale. Okay, bye, 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 bye.